Start the morning with coffee in your cup. Time to hang out with friends and chat it up. Bring a smile and good luck. Hit that like button and let's chat it up. Good times start with us, you and me. Good morning, welcome to the morning coffee show. Start the morning with coffee in your cup. Time to hang out with friends and chat it up. Bring a smile and good luck. Hit that like button and let's chat it up. Good times start with us, you and me. Good morning, welcome to the morning coffee show. Let's talk from in the shell and share good vibes and good times. Good friends and trends that bend the senses. Let's get a bit senseless. Welcome to the morning coffee show, where we bring good vibes and good times. Welcome to the morning coffee show with Super Fast Tortoise. Welcome to the morning coffee show, where we have the flow. Good vibes from head to toe. Let the happiness take you in.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning to the morning coffee show. We got Hillbilly.
Good morning.
Good morning. We got KJ.
Good morning, coffee people.
Coffee people of the world. We got Twitch. We got YouTube. How are you guys doing in the world today?
I'm doing pretty good. Had a pretty good stream this morning.
Ooh, pretty good. Today's Tuesday. This is the day people get to come on stream and beat you up on the arena.
Yeah, sure is this afternoon. There's also a Commander game too later on tonight.
Commander game. Commander game. That's right. That is right. Tonight's Commander game on Hillbilly's channel. Woo woo.
Yep.
So what's going on? Yeah, you know, after tonight's game, Hillbilly's going to be walking with his tail between his legs because I beat him so bad.
Probably.
Elijah Castle, what's up?
What's up, Elijah?
Elijah.
So Elijah released a new Suno song yesterday. It was a banger. He wrote one for Jesse. It was pretty good.
Nice. People are really digging on those Suno songs and stuff. Really love it. It's good. Like if I could afford it, I'd pay for the $10 a month thing, but it's worth it. Yeah, hey, CM. Yo, that's Team MTG peeps chilling. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Where am I? Oh, Hillbilly's selecting stuff. Happy birthday Tuesday. That's right. Happy birthday Tuesday. You got Mrs. Hillbilly too. CM and Mrs. Hillbilly. That's right. Woo woo.
Good morning.
Yeah, I gave Hillbilly a lot of power behind the scenes. All right. So a quick lesson, Hillbilly. When you select a comment, you keep it up until you can read it.
Oh,
All the way through. All right. So like you're good. Sometimes we like you'll notice sometimes when I'm talking, I'll have a comment up and it'll just stay there, and it'll stay there till we can read it. But if the topic goes too long or changes too much, then you can just like unselect it.
okay.
Yeah, it's etiquette. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I even forget that I put them up. I'm just like, display this comment, and it's been there for 15 minutes. The same comment on the thing. Jesse sends me a private message saying, "Did you keep that comment up on the screen for a reason?" I'm like, "Yeah, they're awesome."
That's right.
The fact of the matter is, I just forgot to unselect the comment after we talked about it. New complete topic, and that comment's still up on the screen.
Right. Oh, what's this? Someone important posted a word in chat. WORK. What does that mean?
I don't know what that word means. I choose to ignore the fact that it's screaming at me in all caps. Yeah. I'm trying to get my platinum class procrastinator status, and with everybody shouting that word out at me lately, cut your hair, get a real job, go to work.
Captain Waffles, what's up? Hey.
Morning.
Good morning, Mon Capitan. The army is ready to go.
Who lives on a plate under the kitchen? Captain Waffles. Sticky and syrupy as he can be mentioned. Captain Waffles. He always gets them, and when he is mentioned, Captain Waffle. Okay, I'm dead. Madam Monk, hello there. Hi.
What's up, Captain Waffles, Man of Monk? How y'all doing today?
Yeah. Madam Monk opened portals across the multiverse to become here. You know, that new icon he has, that new logo he has, he actually redesigned it because on our show we always talked about him opening up portals into different dimensions and stuff. So he redesigned his logo because we made a backstory for him.
Looks cool. I like it.
You know, I got to find some way to add Mana Monk to my lore.
Right.
Oh, right. Cool.
We all took our drink of our coffee at the same time. Just want everybody to notice that.
Nice. Waffles, I might be streaming Friday morning from Waffles' house on my birthday. Well, that'd be cool. Or I've opened it up, and you can ask KJ that whenever you're on the show, and if you want to stream to your own destinations on the morning coffee, you can.
Ooh, yeah. It's actually kind of cool, you know. I'm enjoying it, you know.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, like I'm trying to open it up because like right now, I don't know if you know this, but we're streaming both on Twitch and YouTube right now. Isn't that pretty cool?
Cool.
That is wild. You know,
cool.
The simulcasting has gone a long way for you know, if you think about it. It used to be just a couple of years ago, streamers couldn't simulcast. So much, in fact, even if they had the capability to simulcast, the TOS for Twitch and YouTube both didn't allow for it.
Oh yeah, it's pretty cool.
Now they allow for it.
Mm-hmm. Madam Monk says I wrote it into my theme song as well. Hell yeah, that's right. Well, the reason I came up with the multi-dimension portals a long time ago when I was using Leonardo AI before they made that huge paywall and quality decrease. I made a couple of images of a monk opening portals, like rainbow colored portals, and you'll see him. He still uses some of these artworks in like his shorts and stuff. It's pretty cool.
Cool.
Yeah. Oh, what's that? What's that? Oh yeah, and happy birthday, Captain Waffles.
Yeah, happy early birthday.
Happy early birthday.
Happy Waffle Day.
Mm-hmm. Cosmic Seeds, woo, birthday on Friday for Waffles. What up, SFT, MTG3? Ah, what up? That's right. Use those emojis. Emote.
You know, I think it's a very good idea to celebrate your birthday live at the Waffle House because there's always something wild going on at the Waffle House. Usually when there's a camera running, something happens there. Mm-hmm. It's great. I love the Waffle House.
Yeah, but for sure, Captain Waffles, if you ever get the chance, because I know you got a very busy life going on, if you ever get the chance, I'd love to have you on, catch up with you on the show. But I hope you have a blast on your birthday morning live. All right. What is this? Oh, those are cool emoji. Those must be real emojis. I've never seen those before. Like real emojis, meaning like YouTube supports them. Hell yeah, that's pretty cool. All right. So we have a topic today. An interesting topic. Like I've been watching a lot of stuff on people talking and bantering about Magic the Gathering again. And one of the things that have been coming up is priorities between like the title of the show is Where Are the Priorities in the Collector's World? But there's a lot of people have been talking about is like the division between mass corporations and the collector's world. And it's interesting because nobody ever talks about the obvious like elephant in the room, you know, like collectors kind of take away business from the corporations when it comes to like vintage stuff and the corporations they retaliate by saying, well, if that's what's popular, we're going to remake these toys that you're collecting and sell them for cheaper than people are asking for. And people are like, okay. And so
I think partly that's you're very, very much accurate. I really do. I don't mean to interrupt, but you're hitting on the nail on the head. Pretty much, the corporations do not make money off of those consumers who do not buy new. Thus the reason why you will really not have a true collectible anymore, especially in the toy market. Because if you're buying vintage, you're not buying new, and the corporations do not make money off of you if you don't buy new.
Hold on, Kane Checker says, I think you have been watching too much Rogue Deck Builder or whatever he calls his channel. No, this topic does not stem from him at all. This is actually a refurbished topic from a long time ago that I've noticed people are talking about, especially one other person who goes by Uncle. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Has been talking about.
Uncle Cracker?
No, not Uncle Cracker, but poor dad. The cats in the cradles. You know. If you guys caught that reference, you're old.
Or you were a karaoke DJ for 20 years and still old.
Well, believe it or not, if you didn't know this, I'd be surprised. But Uncle Cracker's not the original singer of that song. He actually covered that song.
Yeah, it was a cover. Uncle Cracker it does a lot of covers, actually. I've made the statement, and people have gotten mad at me for it, saying Uncle Cracker's just an overblown cover artist, and most artists are really. But we're steering from the conversation. Let's go back.
Rewind. Captain Wolf says, I've been busy preparing for the Spotlight Series tournament in Indianapolis this weekend and other things. Hey, that'd be awesome. I'd love to see what goes on in those videos. And with that, but yeah, so. And like I said, like there's been this ongoing battle between the collector industry, like the vintage collector industry, and not all of it's vintage anymore, but not print, and this even stems into the gaming world, because the most annoying advocate out there in the gaming world, like the video game world, is Nintendo. You want to play our old video games? We'll let you play some of them for free, but we'll sue the heck out of you if you even play a fucking ROM. But it's crazy. And so they do weird things, and some of them make sense for a corporation, like Hillbilly likes He-Man, right? He mentioned he liked He-Man. He loves He-Man. People are scooping up and making the old vintage toys worth lots of money. But I don't know if Hillbilly's paid attention on Walmart or Target, but they've been vintage style ones for cheap. Well,
$20. You lost connection or something. You just froze for a second.
No, I froze. But yeah,
I heard you said something about He-Man, but that's all I heard.
So, He-Man toys, the vintage toys are very collectible, like the vintage toys. But if you paid attention, they've been selling vintage style He-Man toys at Walmart and Target. In fact, the last wave they did was a new wave in the old style toys called Turtles of Grayskull, Ninja Turtles and He-Man.
I remember that.
Yeah.
They even had a comic book series for it too, through IDW.
Yep, sounds like a big headache. That's right. Sometimes it is. Thundercats, He-Man, Thundercats, hooray! DCG dude, what's up? But yeah, but there's pros and cons to it, right? That's one of the things I wanted to talk about. Like some of the pros and cons in it, because come on. We love expensive things that we own, right? We get stuff for cheap and it's worth money later. And if we need to, we can just flip it, right? That's one thing people like. But the pro to the corporation step in toys is now that you want to complete your collection. Sure, it's not the vintage toy, but if they make it pretty much accurate to the vintage toy, instead of spending $100 on a He-Man figure, you can spend like 20.
Yeah, but I still think I'm gonna be here with the collector. The collector, it doesn't matter if they reproduce the toys from the 80s. Like one big thing with Masters of the Universe is they have this line out right now, which is the 80s figurines, but made just slightly better with joints in their arms, but it's exactly the same look as the 80s figurines. And a lot of people are complaining about these in the Masters of the Universe side. And I feel like I'm just seeing it on YouTube, where YouTube people complain a lot just to complain. I think it's a big piece of content on YouTube, but at the same time they're saying, oh, by remaking the look of the 80s toys, it's making our valued product go down. Well, no, yes, it all depends on what you feel if it's worth spending on. If you want it to fill your hole in your library, you're going to still want to fill your hole in your vintage side of your library too. I'm sorry, but like I've said several times about cards, if it has that little tiny printed by or made in date on the packaging, that right there, if you have the original packaging and you have the original toy and you have this, that's still going to make the value go up. It doesn't matter if they reprint or remake the toy or redo, because that the corporation is going to do it anyway. And Magic people, you guys have this conversation all the time in the Magic community that, they're reprinting cards they said they'd never reprint. Really? A corporation that wants to make money said that they were going to do something and did exactly the opposite? Kidding. I see this and I'm sitting there going, yeah, well, it is the responsibility of the collector to look at the printed date, the manufactured date on the packaging. And that right there, I got myself a whole original Pokemon set. Oh, really? Looks like those are reprints.
Mm-hmm. Really quick, I'd say hello to Dark Master. Whoa.
Messed up.
But yeah, no, what you're saying makes sense. To be honest with you, like Wizard of the Coast reprinting certain cards, they've actually been putting in a lot of effort to push the power creep up. So some of the cards that people were wanting reprinted that they never reprint are becoming null and void to reprint. So that's an interesting factor that's been nodded that direction. Not saying if they didn't have it. Metamonk says my portal probably causing SFT some interference, shutting it down for a bit. Oh no. All right. I usually hunt the thrift stores. Hell yeah, flea markets, yard sales. I can find one. All right. Interesting factor, because Tortoise got some heavy opinions about this, right? Thrift stores. I love a good thrift store, but like our local thrift store, Goodwill, does one of three things. One, they overprice it at their store. Two, they don't put it in the store and they straight up auction it for more money or try to get more money. And three, they throw it to the bins for resellers, which is ironic. Yep. And if you don't know the bins, the bin store is Goodwill outlet stores, and you can literally buy trash, like collectible trash on the dime. You're paying like $1 a pound of stuff. Like they weigh it out, you pay that much, and it's a good deal sometimes. Because Goodwill does two major things. One, they become the collector when they sell their stuff, and they'll be like I've seen them do it before. Well, they have a hot item in store, and they'll say you can find it for like $50 on eBay. Why don't you spend $40 here? They've done stuff like that, and they also are maximizing their profits as best they can because they're also a corporation or a business, however you want to look at it. Flea markets, man, I've watched people go to a couple flea markets because I don't really have a good flea market in my town, but I love watching people go to flea markets, and you have those people who are not collectors but try to be on top of everything collecting so they can cost out their products according to the collector's market. Smart thinking on, so that's how it goes. So, and with the yard sales, varying where you go, sometimes it is a freaking hit after hit yard sale, or people are knowing the value, asking for the value, so you're not getting that deal. And that's because the world, since COVID, has transformed from a kind of a careless, let's get rid of stuff world to know your value so you can make your money back kind of world. Because we had that whole reseller flipper convergence that happened on YouTube and all over social media, and gave people something to do on the side hand because people did it. And that's a whole conversation that can span an entire show.
Yep. Yeah. Down here where I'm at, we got a place called Flealand. It's a flea market it's the size of a football field.
Nice.
I have found magic cards there, but that's a different story though.
Oh no. Like you want to hear something ridiculous? One time at Goodwill, they were selling magic cards, like those big boxes, like long boxes, for $20 full of basic land.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. When it comes to shoes in this area, it's been going on. Jordan re-releases the same shoes, but the older ones still hold value. Yeah, look, that's kind of the trope, right? People think reprinting is going to knock down the value of a card forever, right? Forever. I'm trying to remember the name of the card. I have a card that was I don't have this card, but it was reprinted down to like $1. Like the value of the current card and the old card were like $1. Months later, it's like a $20 card. The value went back up. Sometimes the initial hit will knock down the price of a card, and that's when you kind of go in and swoop in and buy the card. But, depending on the card and how good it is, the price will always go back up if it's something I want. Because just because they reprint it doesn't mean they're going to reprint it in the near future. Even though Wizards have tested the water so much with that concept.
I have a firm belief that a lot of times when, especially now with social media, when it comes down to remakes, reprints, and we see this in all forms of media, whether it be comic books, trading cards, video games, and even movies. When we do a remake, a reprint, a repressing, a rebuild of a concept, especially an intellectual property that a lot of people collect merchandise on. When they do this, a lot of people, especially collectors who collect for profit, right? The people who collect for profit, they tend to panic because they're collecting for profit, and they spread the propaganda of your product is not going to be worth diddly squat. First of all, I can see two reasons to spread this propaganda. As if I were a financial collector, I would spread the propaganda in order to not get other people to buy something that I'm buying. First of all, because I want to be the person who has that expensive product in my collection.
Right.
And if I have it and you have it, it's not as special. Like collectors, they particularly profit collectors, they're like, okay, this is the special item. This is the holy grail of financial items that I'm going to pick up for a collection. This is my Beatles Black album or Beatles White album, whatever the ones that's most expensive, that people pick up just to have that expensive collectible. And I think it's propaganda that is put forward by the people who are collecting for financial profit. Because that price, as you said, does eventually go back up on the original product, because true collectors are smart enough to know about exactly what we commented on earlier, the print date, the manufacture date.
Right.
And that is very important. Like with Disney, the Disney VHSs, you wouldn't go and buy a Disney VHS that's not a Black Diamond masterpiece, but because the regular masterpiece collection isn't even worth as much.
Well, the Black Diamonds are not worth that much either.
Well, they're not now, but back in the day when you were collecting for that price, remember when everybody was like, it is all about the Black Diamond.
Oh yeah. Like it was funny because and
he's putting this up on the screen just to I'm trying to ignore the fact that Manamonk used the W word, and he's just holding it up on the screen right in my vision. Right. He knows I've been looking at it for like a minute and a half straight.
So you got to get back to work. Manamonk, have a good day at work.
Hey, Manamonk.
True story. The Black Diamond Disney things?
Yeah.
VHSs. My wife, she's a Beauty and Beast fan. She loves Beauty and the Beast. and we were at the Goodwill, and we found a VHS copy, Black Diamond. I said coffee, a Black Diamond copy of Beauty and the Beast.
So many
and,
drink.
and, you know, they're selling the movie for like 50 cents, right?
Yeah.
But she eBay scanned it, and they were pushing for like $2,000 on eBay.
Ooh.
Yeah. Well, the truth about the Black Diamond, and there's a reason why they call them Black Diamond. They actually changed the name of the collection. There's why they call it Black. The reason why they were selling Black Diamonds for that much is because they were money laundering on eBay. So that hype for the movies were not real. And
yeah, no, they weren't. There was also an investigation that a lot of people who were selling, and this is still a problem today. A lot of eBayers and people who are selling these alleged collectibles, like even today, you'll still find some people on eBay selling Beanie Babies for an outrageous amount. And what it turned out is, I saw this big old article. I think it was on World News or something, where they said it turns out that a lot of people are using collectibles as a way to launder money, and they're not really selling these collectibles. And when the searches come up for people who sold a collectible and go, oh, I paid so much, somebody paid so much money for this collectible, I could probably do it too, and make a lot of money. A lot of the times, half of those collectibles that are selling allegedly for outrageous amounts, they're people laundering money, pretending like they're selling product and not selling product.
Well, yeah, it's like the old insurance scams that people tried in the beginning of eBay and stuff, where they had an item, they listed it as like Uber amount, like let's say like $1,000 insured, and you know, somehow the product got destroyed, and they'd get the insurance. And they fixed this problem a long time ago, but people would get money back worth more than the product back because it was listed and valued at this much supposedly, and the insurance was for X amount.
Yeah, that is another piece of the collectibles market that I think that people always ignore is when we're looking at prices of what has sold, is that legitimate? Like, I always ask, is there a blockchain of who owned this item in the past and how much they paid for it? Because there is not. It's not like owning a Magic card is not like owning cryptocurrency unless it's been graded. There's no list of who owned this product, with the exception of like graded cards, because the graded cards, they have a little barcode on it, little QR, shiny QR that you can scan, and you can actually find out how many hands that graded card has been through, and you can't do that with a standard collectible. So therefore, if somebody says, oh yeah, I bought this for so much, or I sold this for so much, and it doesn't sound right, most likely they probably didn't. Right. And you know, it's the whole Woodstock scenario with selling or collecting collectibles. Is a lot of people who say that they had a certain high value item did not. Just like I've been to Woodstock, you did not.
Or value.
Value, exactly.
Right. Like so not just eBay, other selling sites and whatnot. There's always going to be those people who scam you, right? And by scamming, and I'm talking about the seller side of scamming, like the seller scammers, not the buyer scammers, because that's a whole different story.
That's a different story.
Right. But like, you definitely like have people who get like an official Tortoise coffee mug, right? And they sell it to you for $500, which is a really good deal on this mug, by the way. And
kidding, I spent like $1,300 on mine, you know, and it's not even as good as the free one I got in the mail the other day.
Right. Anyways, so people would take a picture of this image and tell you it's good conditions and take all the best pictures they can. Well, you buy it and they sell you the jank version, the broken version you don't see in the pictures. And and they claim that it broke in the mail, and that started a resurgence of refunds. And because back in the day, buyer beware, sold as is or something like that, you couldn't get a refund, and that sparked up an interesting, not really like a war, but an interesting debacle on refunds between the buyer and sellers.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. Hey kid, want to buy some overpriced collectibles? Hell yeah. That's right. All right. But yeah, Says I got some SFT stickers. I sell you at $20 a piece. Oh, shoot.
Ooh, that's a good deal. I hope the
That is a
first
good deal.
editions. I heard that the first edition Super Fast Tortoise stickers are skyrocketing in value right now.
All right. They are. I literally have 2 left. You know, I should have been that jerk. That jerk who like numbered like all 50 of the stickers I had and be like 1 through 150, 250, 350, 450. I should have done that just for kicks and giggles. What's this? They're starting to compete directly with their own fans on the secondary market, pricing out casual collectors. That's very true. Because one thing a lot of people do, or a lot of companies and people do, and even as a reseller, when I was reselling, is I'd look at the common price of an item, like this tortoise mug. $500 is a good deal, right? That's because the other ones were selling at $700, and I know I could move this faster if I sold it for $5.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
the thing is, I'm afraid that based off of what I've seen in the resale side of the world,
right.
it is very hard to moderate the scammers, especially when it comes down to things. I can't tell you how many times that Jesse has told me, or a cousin of mine who collects Pokemon, like it's really huge for scammers to be selling fake Pokemon. And you know, the secondary market is very hard to moderate, and I really don't think that that there really is much moderation going on, let alone the availability of people to police scam artists.
Right. That's what I want to say. There's too many people selling and buying compared to the amount of people that they can afford to police and take care of these issues. You know, my thought process is for every one person they got, say at eBay, to deal with customer service, there's like 1,000 people that they're trying to work with or trying to deal with, you know, because not only is a transaction, like say I wanted to return something on eBay and I like contact eBay and the seller, because if the seller says no, but I believe I'm right, I can contact eBay. And so when it goes to eBay's hand, not only is there one person fixing the problem, but the box opens up between the two of us in the cell, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like unfair advantages, and that's why I think they write the rules and bylaws or whatever you want to call them, then serve one section of the group more than the other, and vice versa. Like, and look, I'm gonna be honest with you, there's been so many changes with eBay. I don't sell on eBay anymore, but so many changes. I get all these updates and stuff. I don't know what it's like, but I know for a fact that ADH Dave, if you guys don't know who he is, what sold on eBay, had a really successful store, and eBay basically, they didn't kick him out, but they changed so many rules that made his very profitable store not so profitable anymore. You know?
Yeah. eBay, from what I've been able to see, based off of my experience selling my my comic books that I sell when I get ones that I have triplicate of, because as everybody knows, I keep 2 versions of each comic book if I possibly can, and I sell the third if I get a third copy. And they make it really hard on eBay if you're bulk selling.
Right.
You know, but if you're selling in bulk as a private seller, it's a lot easier. eBay's always been, in my opinion, the yard sales of the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of people would argue with me, say, no, that's Facebook Marketplace. I'm sorry, Facebook Marketplace is the dumpster dive of the internet. But you go to eBay if you want yard sale items. So much, in fact, that antique stores are using eBay for products that they can't sell.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a friend who runs an antique store here in Little Rock, and that's exactly what he told me why he uses eBay. He says, we can't sell this in our store, so we're going to sell it on eBay. People are more likely to buy junk on eBay than they are to buy good product on eBay.
Wow. Kane Chicken says we have 50% off sale on all of our half items. Yeah,
ooh. I'll pay double for that.
That's right. 99.9% of collectibles are worth only the sentimental value people are willing to pay with money.
Correct.
Push to shove, 99.9% of collectibles are not needed and don't fit into the base level of bloop, bloop, Maslow hierarchy of needs.
I believe that's very accurate. My dad always used to say, I don't know why you're collecting these comic books. You can read them and throw them away with every other magazine that you get.
Right.
And I said, no, they're going to be worth money someday. Okay, so I was wrong, but not wrong. I was right, but I was wrong. You know, the collectibles industry fluctuates.
Right.
But my dad always said something's only worth what somebody's willing to pay for it.
Oh, hold on. Cane Chicker said, no, that was one of our serialized specialty items. He was making a joke. 2 of 1. Okay.
Ah,
Right.
I read that as sterilized for some reason.
That's right. But anyways, we go on.
But yeah, my dad said that something is only worth what somebody's willing to pay for it. And so it doesn't matter what the market value is. If I'm not willing to pay for it, in my mind, it's not worth that.
Right.
And I agree with that statement. And I agree with the statement that Captain Waffles put out regarding collectibles only being worth the sentimental value.
Right. Like I got a perfect odd example for this, right? Take a rock and let's make this rock about the size of a chair, right?
That'd be a boulder.
Right. Well, yeah, a boulder. A boulder. All right, let's go on. But anyway, right, size of a chair. And someone's willing to pay $40 for this rock to sit in their lawn. Someone's willing to pay $10 to use that as a chair, and someone's willing to pay $50 to see how far they can throw it. You know, there's different needs in the buy world, especially with collectibles and stuff like that. Because you know, there's a very true fact that I don't think it's talked about much. In fact, a lot of people kind of break apart sectors of collectors and buyers and resellers. Because, like, you look at a He-Man action figure, right? You got the collector who wants to collect it to finish your collection. You got the reseller who wants to get it at a good deal to buy it cheap and sell it for higher. Then you got the person who wants to buy it just so they can give it as a gift, you know? And so there's always like 3 different eyes on every object that retain a different monetary value.
Yeah,
that made sense, right?
Yeah, it absolutely does. It absolutely does. I think that you explained it in the exact right way. A lot of people don't get that order because a lot of people just see it as, I want that rock in my yard, or I want to get rid of that nuisance of a rock. Every time somebody walks past my yard, they feel the need to sit on the rock in the middle of my yard. You know, there's different ways to look at that item. Whether it be a rock or a Magic the Gathering card, you know, there's different ways to look at it. And when you as a consumer are buying product, we've talked about responsibility in the past. This is not necessarily responsibility. This is just common sense, where you're going to go and sit down and go, okay, look, I know I need this to fill a hole, but is it even worth the money I'm paying for it? I still need it and I want it and I'm going to get it. But can I risk the fact that if I wait a month, it won't skyrocket in price? Or if I buy it now and a month later it's discounted 50% and Cane Shaker's now selling me the discounted card, you know, at his half off price for double. But unfortunately, that is how the secondary market works,
right? And
just as much as and you've heard me talk about the mainstream market wanting your money. Well, the secondary market wants your money as well, and the secondary market, unlike the primary market that is approaching the consumer, the secondary market doesn't have a lot of legal stuff holding them back. They
Right.
the secondary market does not have an MSRP. The secondary market does not necessarily have to worry about tax under $600. The secondary market does not have to worry about these certain things, especially since the secondary market mostly sells under the table.
Mm-hmm. And look, earlier we talked about how corporations are reprinting or remaking some of these old toys. You know what? There's a lot of good reasons why they do this, right? Not just money, right? Money is like the obvious benefactor. There's a big call for these toys, whatnot.
Oh,
But
yeah.
there's this I can't remember the guy's channel name, but his name is Rick. He lives in the UK and he collects toys and sells toys. He has this whole collection and he owns a toy store and everything. And he talks about his collectibles. And one of his prized collectibles was a in-pack Skeletor figurine, right? And it was like this one with like a special like arm ability or something.
I hope it was the one that had the where you can where if you had the action figures punch each other, their chest would dent.
I think that's the one, because
that one's worth a lot of money right now.
Right. I think that's the one, because what I'm about to tell you would make sense. Because when I was watching the video, he's talked about he like, this is a long time ago, but it's relatable to this topic. Why, like, between the old vintage collectic and the new prints are different. Anyways, he had this one Skeletor in a package, like never opened, still sealed, right? You know, probably has like he said his package didn't really have any yellowing on it, which is possible. We've seen it. But he said out of one day, just sitting on a shelf, his arm fell off the toy because the age of the plastic, you know, aged out. It dried up. Everything, all the mechanisms, just whatever, you know. He spent lots of money on that, and I'm talking about lots of money on it. And now that thing he spent lots of money on is worth nothing, you know, because that arm broke.
Yep.
Well, that is a problem with the toy market. See, it used to be a lot, and you heard this a lot from people who are like my parents and your parents. Back in our day, toys lasted longer. You kids go through toys like nobody's business, and I swear up and down, my parents thought that I was deliberately breaking my toys.
Right.
But the thing is the older toys back in the 50s and 60s made out of metals and woods and had a much longer shelf life than plastics, which are made from oils.
Right.
The oils, they eventually go bye-bye. And this is one of the reasons why you should always change your sleeves out on your cards. You should always change your sleeves, your bags on your comic books. And if something comes in a plastic packaging, you might want to take it out of your plastic packaging, because those oils will damage the product. And a lot of modern toys are made out of plastics, which contain these oils, and they biodegrade. I believe it's part of two things. One, part of manufacturing cheaper, and also, I know people hate it when I say this, but planned obsolescence.
Right. Kovacs Corner. What? Smash that like button, homies. Hey, Kovacs, what's up? Welcome.
Hey, Kovacs, you changed your
Kovacs.
Yeah, it looks like he's holding a serialized, not a serialized, but a what do you call it? Graded. Thank you. A graded card, Pokemon card. Or
yeah.
Yeah, I think it's Yu-Gi-Oh. All right.
It looks like Yu-Gi-Oh from the small thumbnail. I got to go to his page to look it up. But yeah, it's a new picture.
But yeah, so, and Kane Chicker was talking about the S in SRP does stand for suggested, right? Like suggested retail price and whatnot. Yeah.
Yes.
And look,
suggested.
That's exactly the abuse we give our collectibles on the secondary market. We give suggested prices all the time. You want this rubber ducky that I bought for 10 cents? Oh, I suggest the retail price or the resale price on it is like $15.
Right. But that's also the problem with the resale market is exactly what you're saying. Where like the primary market for which people seem to not like to deal with because it's major corporations, blah, 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 blah. The primary market actually does sit down and go, you know what? We recommend these manufactured, we, the manufacturer, have our suggested retail price, and you, the consumer, should not be paying more than this manufactured suggested retail pricing. So much, in fact, that I believe when dealing with automotive that they have to, by law, put the manufactured suggested retail price of an automobile when you're purchasing it. So that way you know what you're paying over the manufactured suggested retail price. And then you can ask, what upgrades does this vehicle have that that justifies charging more than the MSRP on a motor vehicle. They have to, by law, with motor vehicles, say that, but they don't have to with other products like anything else. Even with unless you're going, even with like the PlayStation, you can say it's MSRP'd at this amount of money, but the same product with no upgrades, doesn't have a larger hard drive, is still $100 more at one retail store as opposed to another. That just because there's MSRP does not mean that the retailers have to follow that, because even the retailers hit a secondary market to a certain degree.
All right. And Kenny Checker says, my name of that duck has risen its value 100%. That's right. But one thing in today's world, people don't really talk about the secret tax of collecting. Sometimes you avoid this secret tax. Sometimes you don't have to worry about the secret tax, but there's a secret tax to collecting, especially in today's collectible market. Now, you don't get this tax when you go to the yard sales. You don't get this tax when you go to flea markets. You don't get this tax when you go to Goodwill. But people are not buying this stuff out there. They're paying the secret tax of shipping and handling on eBay most of the time.
Which comes out to almost equal to or double the product.
Varying, yes.
Yeah, equal to or double the product. And see, that's a big thing. One of the reasons why I stopped ordering from people who don't cover shipping. Right. Because if you don't cover shipping, I'm not going to order from you because I'm already paying for the price and most likely an adjusted up pricing that you guys are going to have for shelf stocking, which I don't understand why an independent seller would charge me a shelf stocking fee for something that I'm buying from you. Now you're going to charge me to restock your own shelf. That's called the payment I made for my product.
Right.
But they're throwing it. eBay sales people are doing this too. They said plus a shelf stocking fee. That's why we charged you more than what the thing was. I actually contested this with eBay, and eBay, they're like, well,
sorry, Captain Waffles comment.
eBay denied my contest on somebody trying to charge me an upcharge after I've already paid for it, because they refused to send it because they wanted me to pay for a shelf restocking fee. And eBay won't moderate that.
Right. I don't.
eBay stopped moderating, period.
I know some people do that because, oh my God, having a list of items can be work, but I never charged a self-stocking fee. Like
the shelf stocking fee is your upcharge for purchasing, the 20% upcharge for selling it, and that 20% should cover your shelf stocking and whatever employed staff you have.
Like a long time ago, I used to go live listing stuff on eBay. You can ask Kane Shaker, he was there. Like I'd list stuff on eBay, and it wasn't always an easy task. Like this Super Fast Tortoise mug, if this was like a real item that was printed in the market, there would have been information about it, the year it was made, the copyright, whatever. I'd look that kind of stuff up on a product and be like, and type it in the thing. And there are people who talk about this stuff on our reseller channels when they had them big, when they were new, because there's a whole learning experience. And people are like, well, I'm going to charge. Some people are like, I'm going to charge people for me doing my homework. And I'm like, but come on. Sometimes it's just worth the adventure to go on there. Look, I mean, when you find out, when you look up a Disney movie, let's say like The Little Mermaid, like a VHS, and when you're looking up that information, you find out the reason why that VHS is in particular more value than any other copy of VHS, and it's because of the stuff they didn't take out at the time. Holy cow. There's an interesting story behind everything.
Oh, yeah.
But someone's like, well, that's worth $1.25.
But that also goes back to we've talked in the past once again about responsibilities as the collector to not overspend. Here's another thing that doesn't usually come up with that is if you're going to buy and you want this product, are you going to buy it as soon as you see it, or are you going to research everybody else in the United States for probably 20 cents more shipping fee on your one card or whatever that you're going to order? Whatever in order to get a cheaper card of the same card by 40 cents cheaper. So that way you're still paying the same amount of money, but you think to yourself, well, I spent less money on the card itself. Oh, yeah. This is a big deal where we kind of get ourselves we all do this. I do this. And I'll admit to this. When I'm looking up comic books that I need to fill up my collection, and I'm like, okay, well, this one's cheaper, I'm going to buy that. But then I failed to look at the shipping cost and found out that the shipping cost is actually way more than the original one. And the original one, even though the price of the card was more expensive, or the comic book, right, the shipping cost was cheaper, and counter the opposite direction. And so, it is definitely a responsibility to look up and do some significant research, because most likely somebody else is selling that same item, and you can probably get it without having to worry about that restocking fee, or you don't have to worry about somebody gouging you for an extra amount for shipping, because they have to pay for gas to go down to the gas station, or they want to get themselves a beverage on the way to the gas station. My ability to feed you and pay for your gas and pay for your shipping is not part of what is part of shipping and handling, unless you have it stated, and even then you can contest that.
There's a true fact that we learned when we were reselling, right? We knew the gas, we knew the trip, we knew the cost of searching was not free. And instead of charging people the money, like extra money for going out and doing the stuff, we just looked for valuable items to resell to make up the difference. And that is how you do it. Yeah. You look up the value items, the things sell, the things that people are FOMOing and BOGOing over, and that's what you go for. And that was a simple trick. Like I had this knack, because I knew the toys I liked when I was a kid. If I found a toy I liked when I was a kid, that sold quick, and then sold for decent money. I had this joke that every time I went shopping for stuff, I'd break even on the stuff I sold. Like if anything, like my lowest day, I broke even, on the stuff I sold, for how much money was spent, how much money I got back.
There is a person in the community, particularly in the pack cracking community, who tells everybody that I am charging you double the amount of shipping. And when asked why, they said, well, it pays for gasoline, it pays for me to get some sort of food while I'm out, and all that. And I'm thinking to myself, people are going to do the math and realize that you're charging double for shipping, more than what the product's worth, just because you want to get yourself something to eat. And if you get multiple sales on that, on these products, on these pulls, these rips that you're doing, most likely those people are going to see, well, you got multiple people. You're going to the post office on the same day. Why are you charging everybody a quarter tank of gas extra when you're already making that trip for 20 people as it is?
Right.
It does. It's just an excuse. And this is the problem. Like I said, there is a way of scamming your customer, even if it's a legitimate product. There is a way to scam your customer that a lot of people, and I've noticed in the crack and ship, crack them, show them off on stream, and then ship them. There's a lot of people in that industry. So I'm not pointing out one person. I'm pointing out almost an entire industry.
Right. I get what you're
saying. We might know a couple people in our community, particularly, that do this, but this is an entire industry that's going, okay, you know what? We can do this, and we can charge an extra amount, even though we have, particularly looking at a particular Whatnot streamer that I discovered a week ago, but not going to mention any names. because we don't want to get people mad at a whatnot streamer. But if you if you're overcharging 20 people for something, I'd understand if you only getting one sale at a time, and that's different, and you have to go out once a week, and you probably live in a small town or something, that's gas that okay, I can understand that. But when you're getting 20 people on your whatnot page, 30 people on your whatnot page buying one card at a time, and you're charging $8 for shipping extra for a $2 card, I really feel like either the people are supporting your whatnot channel because A, they're friends of yours, or B, they don't know any better.
Well, my friends, with that, we got to get to this little ditty right here.
Hit that subscribe button. Become a part of the creep.
Too much to take. So it's lit. MTG3, are you game? Rise, creep, rise, building a following as we game. Spitting fire like a dragon, no one can bring us down. MTG3 in the house, we own this town. Ripping through the beats with a fury.
Hey, everybody, it is that time of the show where we got to get to the shill section, the thrill section, everything you want to go with the big old deal, because we are a pickle of a group of people. That was a weird way to say all that, but hey.
Yep.
That was cumbersome.
The joke at least has been got. You're a pickle, KJ. You're a big deal.
Just sitting in a jar of vinegar, waiting to get pickled.
And Hillbilly's a pickle because I relish our relationship. And just like both got those jokes off of We Bear Bears. But anyways, we need to get to the shill section, thrill section, because I'm on a little time limit to get some stuff going on because I got to mow the lawn today. Responsibilities, they suck.
You don't have to mow the lawn. Remember, the Amazon supplies a lot of air to our planet. So, when you don't mow the lawn, you're supplying oxygen. Just charge your neighbors for the right to breathe.
That's right. Do a little, like how, like there's a lot of story behind it, but like, how when a company, like a meat packing company sells organic beef and stuff, and you find out basically they did nothing through the life span other than feed the animal, and they charge you extra for it. Well, I should do that to grass, the grass grows. I'm like, organic grass. If you want to stare at it, smell it, breathe its air, pay $1.50. There you go.
Get yourself a goat and have it eat the grass. And I mowed my lawn. I got the lawnmower going right now.
Thinking of goats.
Hey, howdy, hey, boys and girls. If you want to be headed to the right direction, I want you guys to make sure that you've clicked that like button right down there. Just look down right there. See that like button, that little thumbs up? Yeah, click that. Good boy. All right. Thank you. All right. Now that you've done that, follow me over on the Twitch side and hang out with me when I'm playing games like Minecraft or hanging out with Jesse. And on occasion, I stream this show over to the Twitch side, so that way the people over at Twitch can learn what class is like. Wow. Oh, sorry for those Twitch people. I didn't say you had no class. No, I didn't. Not at all. You're wonderful people. I'll be done cheating on Twitch and streaming on Twitch today. A little bit later, we're gonna do a little chat and chill while I work. And yes, I use the W word, but unfortunately, even I got to do it sometimes. It leaves a sour taste in my mouth just admitting it. But I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be putting some stuff together, just trying to work on a video, and maybe if you catch me on Twitch, you'll be able to suggest some features to it.
Whoop, whoop. Sounds good. Good.
Nothing to stream until tomorrow when Jesse and I do procrastinating. Thank you.
Yep. Whoop, whoop. And Hillbilly.
Hey, right. Tuesday is finally here. That means I'm going to do another arena stream. However, it'll be me going up against my viewers. And then later on tonight, there's going to be a Commander game. It'll be about around 7 o'clock tonight. And also, I got one more thing to show. That is this right here. On June 4th, I will be doing early access. I'll be playing with the Final Fantasy cards. And if you're a part of my Discord, you can also craft a deck. And I will give you a shout out. And also, I did find out some news about this. The cards are not, all the cards are not spoiled, but they should be spoiled by the 29th of this month. I did find that out. And anyway, we'll be doing that on the 4th. And that's right after morning coffee show. So that day will not be a morning 9 a.m. stream. But we'll jump on here and do the show here with Super Fast Tortoise. And right after that, we'll be jumping right straight into the early access. That is June the 4th.
Nice. Whoop, whoop. And let's get to Super Fast Tortoise. What? So there's not going to be a stream tonight on my channel. But tonight on Hillbilly's channel, there's going to be a Commander game we're going to be playing. And you should be a part of it. So come check us out when we play some Commander. That's around 7, 8-ish Central Standard Time.
And if you want to play, just let me or Superfast know.
Yeah, in Discord.
Yep. Let us know in the Discord.
That's right. Yeah, and if you want to help out KJ, there's a Ko-Fi link in the chat. If you would click that, you can help him improve his channel. But hey,
or just keep me alive.
Yeah, hey, which one is better for you, right? Do you want to stay alive or do you want to improve your channel? Which one's more important?
You can tell by the way I walk.
I get it. I got the joke. That's a 70s reference. But anyways,
and anybody who didn't finish singing that song when I just said it, shame on you.
That's funny. But anyways, that made me think of a Goofy movie because that song was in the Goofy movie when the Sasquatch is dancing.
Yeah.
All right. But anyways, so everybody check it out. Hillbilly, KJ, and hey. Oh, we're on one thing. Ironically, the game I was talking about yesterday, Jurassic Park World Evolution 2, I could not get on Switch yesterday because apparently it wasn't on Switch. But ironically, I was able to find it on the PlayStation 4 for that super cheap price. So that means two things. One, I don't have to finagle any settings on my computer. And two, I can play the game now. So we're going to start playing Jurassic World Evolution 2 this Wednesday.
Nice.
All right. With that, my friends, I want to thank you guys for all joining us today. Everybody in chat, Hillbilly, KJ, what's up? And everybody who's spoken with us in chat and, threw all the rocks at us and tomatoes and booed us off stage. Thank you for being there. Thank you for liking the video. I want to remind you that you're awesome and amazing, everybody. I want to remind you that you're loved. Someone's thinking about you. And if you can, brighten someone's day up a little, just a little, if it's even just a small little comment, you might be the changes they need today. And with that, my friends, thank you, channel members. Thank you, subscribers. And let's get to a sick outro.
Start the morning with coffee in your cup. Time to hang out with friends and chat it up. Bring a smile and good luck. Hit that like button and let's chat it up. Good times start with us, you and me. Good morning, welcome to the morning coffee show. Let's talk from in the shell and share good vibes and good times. Friends and friends that bend the senses. Let's get up, it's senseless. Welcome to the morning coffee show, where we bring good vibes and good times. Welcome to the morning coffee show.